Those are horses.
Those are your horses. Yep. Welcome back to the Deceiver's Tools. Last session, we ended up in the woods, and some wolves came out to play. So it was raining pretty heavily and hailing, and so they were seeking some sort of shelter from the rain. They found it, but unfortunately, it seems to be the den or at least stomping grounds of something a bit more wild. We started this session with initiative rolls, and so we'll go right into it. Directly before you, Oris, you see the three wolves. The one directly south of you, the biggest one, the white furred one, is breathing a bit of cold air out from it. It is cold, mind you, but it seems to be a bit of a heavier draft of cold coming from its mouth, and its eyes are icy blue. That said, you have the lead on the initiative. It definitely looks like they are moving in to assault you. Before that happens, though, Kate, can you go ahead and roll me an initiative check?
12.
I see a 16.
I see 16.
My dice says 12, though.
Yeah, it's plus 4.
Like, on the top of it. Never mind.
Yeah, you got a plus 4 to your check because you got high dex. Anyways, initiative remains the same order,
Okay.
basically. Oris, table's yours. Oh, right. One last note. Sorry, Kate, one last note for you. The portions with like the bushes that look like shrubs, those are difficult terrain, so moving into them counts as twice the movement it would take normally.
Okay.
Alright, go ahead, Lewis.
I can't decide if I should hold my action for if they get within 10 feet, I'll go whack the first one to get to within 10 feet of me, or if I just run up to the big wolf and give him a smack.
You get the glaive out?
I'm going to do, if anyone moves within 10 feet of me, I'm going to move over and smack it as
Okay.
a held action, if that's alright.
What weapon are you wielding is what I was asking.
The Great Red Axe.
Okay, okay.
The Great Big One.
Because I remember you having some sort of pole arm, but yeah. Okay, cool. So if they move within 10 feet of you, kind of step adjacent and attack. That's fine.
Yeah, smack them both.
Pleasant. Table's yours. Does it look like Oris is holding the line, trying to keep this small pathway guarded? What would you like to do?
So you said if I go next to someone, we could do like a combo attack or something?
Yeah, so dual techniques are something that you guys have figured out. You don't know exactly what they are yet, but if you stand adjacent to an ally, as your action, you can trigger the dual technique, and it will do something.
Okay. I don't have like. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna move. Do that, and then we do a.
Okay. Chad, you have the opportunity to use your reaction at this point to use a dual technique with Pleasant. Would you like to?
Yeah, if I do that, does that also expend my charge?
No. Your charge is spent by your action. So everyone has one chance to use a dual technique. Also, the one that she's about to activate with you is not the same one that you would activate if she was on the receiving end of the reaction. It's different per person.
Shit.
Yeah. Okay.
And is it different because my blades are separated?
No.
Okay, then let's
Just
do
like
it.
a per person thing.
Correct. Okay. So the second that grandmother touches wind and wave, you activate the dual technique introspection. You and Kelder can regain hit points equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus. So at this point, it should be a total of 10. You should be topped off at this point. You and Fi remove any of the following conditions that you are suffering from: blinded, charmed, deafened, 1 level of exhaustion, frightened, poisoned. Additionally, if you or Kelder are under the effects that allow a saving throw at the beginning of your turn or end of your turn, you can make the saving throw with advantage now. So for this purpose, all you can do is heal the hit points. But you now
I
have...
get
Go ahead.
my hit points back.
Correct. You should be at full hit points at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, currently our proficiency bonus is 3.
So yeah, 15. Okay.
Was it
It's a little overkill, but I was a little hurt, so I'm
61.
okay with it.
Now, if you go into your grandmother item card in your journal, you should see that it has that option listed. All right, perfect. That's the very first of the dual techniques that's been activated. Good times. That is your action. You still have a little bit of movement and a bonus action if you'd like to take it.
You said on my grandmother it adds
It should have a new, well, no,
information.
in the item card, which is listed in, here, hold on. If you
This. Okay.
scroll down, it says dual techniques, and then it should
Yeah.
have the listing for introspection.
Cool. I'm just gonna. Can I move up to hide in these bushes?
Yeah. And as a bonus action, you can take the hide action. Perfect. Just roll a stealth check
Okay.
when you get a chance, and I'll go ahead and move to my dire wolves. All right. Fi, go ahead and make me a perception check while we're at this.
I was gonna ask if I could. Oh, trying to find it.
What'd you get? What'd you get, Stefan?
15.
Okay. Yeah, these wolves appear to be kind of moving in, kind of in a flanking position. It looks like they're kind of trying to push you back, you think, based on their strategy here. You don't know why, though. Okay, so the dire wolf here dashed, so I'm going to make a check. Hold on a second. All right. So as this puppo is rushing to you, right about here-ish, it actually kind of slips and slides into the bushes. It very quickly kind of gets up and shakes itself and kind of looks at you, Oris, angrily. The other wolf will bite.
Do I get to use my held action?
Yes, you should. If you're interrupting it, you'd probably stop it right about here. That'll hit.
Do I get extra attack still, or no?
It's your action, yeah.
Yeah. There.
What level are you? You guys are 5?
5.
Okay. Solid hit, second,
First hit,
and
and then second.
okay. Both will hit. So 23 points of damage. Okay. You cleave into the side of its face, kind of cutting a big cut, and then swing at it again, lopping its ear clean off the top of its head. It kind of ducks down and looks up at you angrily with like a kind of whimpering growl. It will bite. You should move yourself into your position that you said you moved into. And
It's like Ghost.
Saying I call this dire wolf ghost now.
it'll hit 23 AC for 7 points of damage. And go ahead and make a strength saving throw. Okay. You kind of cleave into it, cut its ear clean off. It bites onto your arm that moved on the opposite direction, grabs a hold of it and tries to tug you down. You flex, and it kind of just tears your skin a bit, and you just kind of look down at your arm, blood trickling down in the rain, not even concerned. All right, Kelder.
Weird flex, but okay.
Bonus action Blade Song.
Okay.
And I'm going to move over this way and attack this guy.
All right. Hit.
9 damage.
Okay. And it's
That's that.
it's currently in split, right?
Yeah. But I use my bonus action to start the Blade Song.
Gotcha. Just making
So
sure.
next turn, I'll really start with the slicey dicey. And my AC is currently.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
23.
Success.
Damn, I'm just rolling high.
Yeah. So for half damage, you will be taking 12 points of damage, cold damage. As you guys watch it move forward, it kind of just sends this gout of cold energy straight streaming out of its mouth into Kelder, who kind of like braces against it, pulling his cloak tight, and then kind of shakes himself, the ice shattering from him. The wolf kind of looks into your eyes, and in Elvish, actually no, in a language you probably don't speak, it says something. Do you speak Giant?
Is it saying it out loud?
I do not.
It is, but the rain and the sounds are kind of, the sound of the combat are kind of making it so it's just personal here. Okay.
I did not speak giant.
It gutturally says something to you, Kelder. Alright. Fi, at the top of your initiative, go ahead and make me one more perception check as a freebie. Okay. Yeah, looks like the combat is heated. The horses are kind of focused, and Perot is kind of looking at you, watching you intently. The other horses are kind of just, especially the riding horse, which is kind of freaking out a bit.
So, or at least mine, I guess.
You're
Do they have any way to... Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
You're breaking up a bit, but go ahead.
He be knowledgeable enough to like either defend or like attack if there were any oncoming like threats.
You can kind of leave a command and just tell it to defend the horses, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that if it so needs to. And then let's see. Kind of in range of the next to Kelder. I think I'll toll the dead for that.
Okay. The winter wolf or the dire wolf?
There.
Okay. All right. So the dire wolf will fail its save, and it's taken damage, so it'll take the second of the 2 blocks. Okay. The 2 dire wolves are very, very wounded at this point. Bloodied. Alright. Oris. Go ahead.
First action, drop of aid,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna smack him once.
Alright. Hit for 14.
Yeah, 14.
Alright. You kind of lift the axe up in the air, kind of like letting yourself appear open to the creature. It tries to bite at your torso. You drop the axe and bury the head down into the ground. You can actually feel it, the axe blade, connect with soil. As you pull the axe away from the ruin of the wolf, it's just a damn mess. And then you said you were going to follow up with the move and attack?
Yeah, move to the left dire wolf and attack it from behind.
Okay. You didn't say you were attacking recklessly, so swing and a miss. Alright. Pleasant.
I'm gonna move next to Oris and duel.
No, you already
Dual
used.
technique.
You already used.
I can only use it once.
Yeah, 1 charge per person.
Once.
So someone else can use it with you, but yeah, your use of the day is done.
Oh man.
You're like, I'm into teamwork. It makes the dream work.
Well, okay. I'm gonna go up to the direwolf and attack it with Am I still like hidden since I'm in the bushes?
Well, I would say so. You're moving through the bushes 5, 10, 15, 20. So yeah, you can move up to it kind of through the bushes very stealthily, keeping low. So like if anyone was looking and was actually able to see you, they'd only just see like the Liberty Cap kind of bobbing across the top of the bush as you're kind of crouched down, and then up comes the blade as you swing at it. So take your attack. You have advantage and sneak attack, of course. All right, that'll hit. And as you guys are kind of flanking this wolf, out of nowhere, this blue blade kind of just cuts into the side flank of it, and it kind of spirals to the side, hitting the side of the tree, and then dropping to the ground. Not moving. Okay. Fi, as you're kind of standing there holding back and keeping an eye on the animals, a blur of fur just appears out of the corner of your eye, but too late for you to kind of react to it. A wolf pounces out of the bushes to your side and will attack you. It will hit you for a total of 10 points of damage, and I need you to make a strength saving throw. All right, so it jumps in, grabs a hold of your shoulder as you try to, like, get your defenses up. It grabs a hold of like your shoulder and arm, like rangs to the side, and then throws you straight down into the ground. You feel just like the sick of like leaf, mud, and your own blood kind of just dash across your face as it kind of like breathes heavily above you. And you also hear the sound of the riding horse kind of whinnying as the other wolf from behind comes in and attacking the war horse. This has splint mail, so my attack will be against a 17 AC. It hits, and roll me a d20. The war horse is your horse, Oris, so go ahead and roll a 20-sided dice and add 3.
And what?
Good enough. You watch, like, if most of you aren't really paying attention, but you watch as it kind of bites into the leg and kind of pulls down. The horse kind of stumbles a bit, but then kind of like backs up and kind of shakes him away. As that's happening, as a reaction, Peruk kind of moves around the area there, goes rampant, and brings its hoofs down on the wolf. Mashing it in the face with its horseshoes. It's a badass looking battle of big ass monsters. It's so cool. Kelder.
Kelder's going to yell at Oris to protect Fi, and then he's going to lay into this winter wolf with both.
Go for it.
Always raging, we'll probably just shout back. That was already our plan, yeah.
17.
That'll hit.
10 damage.
Okay.
Offhand. 23.
Definitely.
Another 4 damage.
The rain's kind of shooting off you as you kind of turn, look at Oris, yell your command, and then spiral around with wind and wave, cutting into the fur of the wolf. As it bleeds, you notice the red blood kind of seems to be kind of hissing a bit of this steam. Like the air around the blood is actually hotter than the cold blood coming out of it. Since you were the one that was affected by it most in its last burst, I need you to roll a d6, Chad. It moves kind of just angrily to this position. It kind of rears back and looks at you, and in Giant it says, "Last chance." You hear it say that, Oris, and then breathes cold energy across you and Pleasant. I need the two of you to make Constitution saving throws.
Thanks. Oh.
I rolled a 9.
Okay. So the two of you take a total of 20 points of damage as it. Oh, hold on a second. Wait, really? I apologize. I've been cheating you here for a bit. On that last one, it would have been fine. Your dice roll was insane. It's not it's not a Constitution saving throw. It's a Dexterity saving throw. I'm going to take your dice rolls and just apply your Dexterity saving throws to the rolls you made, though. 5 still
I
wouldn't.
have advantage because of Blade Song.
So you would have gotten a 10 plus your 4, right?
I would have gotten a 14. Or yeah. I guess it would have been this.
Yeah, your modifier's still the same.
Yeah, but I also.
What?
Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, the modifier is the same, so it would be the same roll.
14 is a success, though. So you'll take
Oh, sweet.
10 instead of 20. But it doesn't help you, Kate, so you'll be taking 20 points of damage.
Yikes.
And
Kelder's looking kind of rough.
I have 1 health.
chatted you. Nice. All right, fine. You're on the ground. You're prone, so standing up will take half of your movement to do so. The wolf is standing kind of over top you, but you can still get up and out and away from it if you need.
Because I want to do a mass healing word to
Okay.
loud and movement, or
Mass Healing Word is a bonus action, if I recall correctly. And you'd still have your action as well, and your movement would be... Basically, if you stand up, you can move 3 squares away from where you're currently at, but you'd take an opportunity attack. If you use your action to disengage from the creature, you don't take an opportunity attack. So you could disengage, back away, and then bonus action Mass Healing Word.
yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do then.
Okay. You can move within 3 squares of where your current position is located.
Let me. Is diagonal okay, or does it have to be?
If you double diagonal, it counts as 10 for the second one, but you should be fine with 1 in there.
Okay, because I want to move. I could do this. And
Yeah, that works. You actually have another square. You could move down 1 more.
Okay.
If you want. Okay. Cool. And then Mass Healing Word, go ahead and throw that.
There we go. Okay, got it.
I'm sorry, John. I was mistaken. Blade Song only gives me advantage on acrobatics checks, not dexterity saving.
Take 10 damage. And
I did. Okay, yeah.
then regain 8. So you should be down 2 from 16.
They all get 8?
Everybody in 60 feet of her gains 8 hit points. And that includes the horses, I'm assuming, right? What's the limit?
6
Yep.
targets.
So everybody get that 8. Alright. Oris's horsey gets a little bit better on the leg. And then Pleasant isn't a frozen chicken. And health all around. Oris, you should be at maximum hit points at this point too. Alright.
Max, I'm 2 shy.
No, she just healed everybody. Did you have damage?
I've done my
Oh, okay, done yours.
8. That's
Alright.
what I made after the 8.
Gotcha. Go ahead, you're up.
I'm gonna shout at the wolf. Fuck do you mean?
In giant?
Last chance for what? Yeah, in giant back at the back.
Leave this place. Or
With or
die.
without your head?
It looks annoyed.
I'm more confident in me than I am with you, buddy. And saying that, I'm going to run back to that dire wolf that's behind Fi and just smack it a bit.
I'm gonna get you. 1 second.
I'm going to kill your buddy first.
5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, okay. And then swing.
Yeah, I'm going to reckless.
Okay.
Hit.
Hit. Hit. Still standing.
I'm gonna go shouting loud, knowing that something can speak giant. I'm just gonna shout as loud as I can. Fuck you!
In giant. As you so you rush at this.
Giant.
You rush at this direwolf. You hit it in the face. It kind of bows its head to the side. You bring the axe back up and hit it again, kind of causing it to spiral to the side. You feel confident it's down. Then it snaps back up and it's baring its fangs. As you kind of are looking down at it, like you're still hateful, you see an arrow slam into the side of its head, impaling out the other side and landing into the tree, deeply into the tree, like almost a foot into the tree, and it just falls to the ground. You can make a perception check to see if you know where the arrow came from, but at this point, that's a
Who
bit.
can make
You don't.
check?
Just him. Just him.
23.
You know it came from the south, and you can kind of see a silhouette of a figure hiding in like the bushes down here, like well down to the bottom of the
Also,
map.
just nod in that direction, kind of like a thank you nod. And then, yeah.
It's just kind of like a dark figure in the bush. All right, Pleasant, you're up.
I want to move back, and can I use my crossbow
Yeah.
on the direwolf? Is like, because I was looking at the distance. I think,
More than.
well, if I like over here.
And then
Is
you're
that in? Is that okay? Can
Yeah.
I do that?
and then you're pulling the crossbow, kind of holding the sword aside and just taking a shot. Go ahead. And that'll hit. And ouch. This is against the wolf, the winter wolf. So
Yeah. The one by the horses.
oh, the one by the horses? Okay. Yeah, Perot is an ally, so that'll count for sneak attack, I suppose. And that'll work. Yeah, you hit it in the chest, and it kind of looks like it's now limping, having been bashed in the head with hooves and shot in the chest. It goes to
Did not
its
think
initiative.
so.
I'm going to make a morale check. All right. That direwolf is going to disengage and retreat.
Welcome, horses.
Kind of heading back up the north way that it came. And that's the only other direwolf I have. So
Is
tell
it
her
gone?
it's almost gone. It is running away though. It doesn't look like it's trying to.
Okay.
Yeah, it's leaving.
Oh, okay.
Keller.
I'm going to. Okay, so I'm going to. Can I use a haste action to drink a potion?
No. Do you mean a bonus action? Yeah, it's an action to drink a potion.
Is drinking a potion considered using an object?
It is.
Okay, then I can.
No, because using an object is an action. For rogues of the thief subvariety, they can do it as a bonus action.
That action can be used only to take the attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object action.
What are you talking about? You're not hasted.
Yeah, I know, but what I want to do is use my action to cast haste, and then use my haste action to drink a potion.
Oh, yeah, sure. If you want to cast haste, go nuts.
Cool. So I'm going to drop one of my weapons. Going to cast haste on myself. Use my haste action to drink that greater healing potion I got,
Okay.
and that should be it.
All right.
How much is it for the greater healing potion?
44 plus 4. Good deal. All right. Since you're the one that got hit by the ice breath the most last time, go ahead and roll me another d6 there, Chad. Keep rolling
You
high.
get iced.
I love it. All right. Go ahead and make me another dexterity saving throw.
I do have advantage on this one.
Because haste, right?
crit. Does that mean I take no damage?
Not at all.
Okay.
Why does it do that? That
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Let's see how much damage is gonna be.
That shouldn't be visible. All right. 1 second here. My macro's goofy. You're gonna take 15 points of damage. That's half.
Is that
Yeah, it's 30 total.
okay? I'm also gonna use my reaction to cast Absorb Element.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So what? Half of 15 is that 8 or 7?
1 second. It would be 7. And then you have an extra d6 of the triggering type on your next attack. So 1 is what you rolled, so that'll what it'll be. Alright. Cool. 5.
Your hit points at.
9 out of 22.
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and heal Pleasant. Cure wounds.
Sounds good.
Nine.
Do I get 9 points then?
Yeah. Alright. And then any movement or bonus actions from you, Fi, or no?
For me, I kind of wanted to tell Piero to go stomp that run away.
To chase the one that ran away?
Yeah, see if
Okay.
he can.
The wolf seems to be bounding pretty quickly through the woods, and the horse kind of looks at you like it's not going to do it, because you know that the horses aren't very keen at running in this terrain.
Okay.
Alright. Oris.
I'm gonna move down to next to Keldor. And I'm gonna shout at the wolf, "Hey!" In giant, I'm gonna shout, "Hey, I need to ask you a question," and then smack it in the face with my axe.
Sorry.
Recklessly.
That'll work.
Woo.
And that'll work. So, okay. Still not bloody. Pretty solid hits, but it doesn't seem to be kind of reeling the wolf like you expect, like the other ones were getting knocked about. Alright. Pleasant.
I'm sorry. What did Oris?
Hit it twice inside a goofy line.
It was not goofy, it was glorious.
Let me ask you a question. It was dumb.
He wasn't even asking anything.
It sounded even dumber because it was in giant.
Hoglog.
Yeah, something. I always imagine giant in a Cockney accent, though. I don't know why.
Really? I thought it would be more like Gaelic
Nah,
or Cornish.
nah.
It's just offensive.
Whatever. Anyways, what are you doing, Pleasant? You got your crossbow drawn. That one is in sight if you want to take a shot at it as it's running.
Yeah, I wanted to do that.
Okay. As it's bounding, it gets shot in the hindquarter and kind of falls into the bushes. You don't know if it's dead or not, but it's certainly not running anymore. Alright. goes to the dire wolves, and they're all pretty much removed. So Kelder, you're up.
All right, hold on a second. I need to think.
I hope these wolves have rubies.
Do I want to heal myself, or do I want temporary hit points, or do I just want to lay into this?
What's your health at?
I'm at 20. I'm more than half, but I don't really have a whole lot, and this thing's been taking some chunks out of me.
You
Yeah.
can always touch tips.
Oh yeah, you guys should do that.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna use my haste action to attack the wolf, and I'm gonna use my main action to bang weapons with Oris.
Okay, take your haste action first.
Okay. Now I'm only holding one of the weapons. Is that gonna affect things? Do I need both?
Go ahead and make your haste action first.
16,
Hit.
7 damage.
Okay. And then you and Oris slash your weapons outward, sending a wave of flame out. Each creature in a 15-foot cone originating from you or Oris must make a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, real quick. That thing takes an extra 1d6 cold damage.
You already rolled the one up above. It rolled with the spell. It's fine. I added it. I already added the roll. You're not listening to what I'm
That
saying.
wasn't a roll.
Yeah,
that
it was.
wasn't a roll. That was just telling me. Oh wait, no, actually that was a roll. My bad.
Yeah, I already added it. It's cool. Moving on to the thing I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. So it's going to make a check, DC or dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC, Chad. A creature that fails it takes 3d12 fire damage. On a success, half as much damage, and anything that's flammable in the range is lit on fire. Basically, it's super burning hands. This ability is called Red Tide. So go ahead and roll me 3d12.
So, okay.
Okay.
As that wave of flame erupts from us, Kelder like screams almost in a rage. How do you like it?
Should be added to your item card at this point as well. And my save is a failure, but I need to check something real quick. Sorry, bear with me here. I can't remember if they're vulnerable to fire damage or not. No, they're just immune to cold. Okay. Cool. It's still standing. Its fur is slightly darkened, and it's kind of bleeding out cold blood from its mouth. Go ahead and roll me a d6 there, Chad. All right. So it'll just attack normal. Since you've been the one I've been having the most fun with, Elle. Sorry, 1 second here. It's lagging. Like Dungeons and Laggings. Okay. And for Absorb Elements, you just gain resistance once, not for a duration, correct?
Yeah, it's just that one turn.
Okay. So crit. And the cold damage.
Crit on what? The attack?
Yeah.
Well, of course. I've got all this AC, and you had to roll a crit.
Oh, it's got a pretty high bonus. The second attack was a 23, so if that makes you feel.
So it actually hit with both attacks.
Yeah. Okay, so there's no cold damage.
So what's the total damage here?
It's going to be a total of 22 points of piercing damage. And if you're still standing after that, I need a strength saving throw.
All right. Do you want me to make concentration after that?
Well, yeah, concentration first, then strength saving throw.
Any of it cold damage?
None.
Okay, so 22 damage, concentration, strength saving.
Constitution saving throw will be DC 11, because half of 22.
I get to add my intelligence to this roll.
Yeah, because you're in Blade Song. For 7 more turns. Success. And then your strength saving throw. No bonuses here. Okay.
13.
So as you kind of spiral away, flame kind of licking off of your weapon, it kind of rears back. Then it kind of lifts up and becomes like absolutely imposing and bites down hard on your shoulder, and you just kind of and it lifts you up in the air, legs up, and then slams you back down into the soil as you're just thudded into the ground. And then it kind of rears its
It's
head.
cutting in and out, but I get to just.
It picks you up, throws you down suplex style, and then looks at Oris, thinking you're dead, but you're not. All right, so Fi, you're up.
So, I'm sorry, was that both attacks combined damage?
One attack.
Oh, I thought you said he made a second attack.
No, he knocks you prone. So as a narrative bit, I said he's basically suplexed you.
I gotcha. Sorry, I was under the impression there was another attack coming.
No, it's only got the one. So Fi, you're up.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit the winter wolf with a toll be dead. Damn.
And my saving throw is no bueno. So I'm taking the bad damage. Or the good damage. Okay. And you guys are 5th level, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the math is wrong. So do me a favor. Roll. It's not your fault. It's the macro. But roll me a d12.
Okay.
It should be doing 2d12 damage. All right. So as you kind of like lift the sensor and kind of look at the wolf, staring at it, it kind of looks over to you with kind of like saddened eyes. You see the bell appear above it, dong off the side, and it just throws the wolf down into the mud. You can see the dark energy of the spell kind of course through it, and the cold mist kind of just exhale out from it as its body lies limp.
So, for bonus story points, does it land on?
No, it's like right next to you. You're literally laying on the ground, face like chin in the mud, kind of looking straight at its face as it's kind of doing the same.
Do I watch the life fade from its eyes?
You do.
Always is dagger any sharp weapon he has still on that wolf, just trying to cut it so he's got a fur coat.
Fi and Pleasant, as you're kind of standing there looking at the wolf die, an arrow lands right at your feet. Hanging from the back of the arrow is a white tassel. As an elf,
Good.
Kelder and Fi, you know that means that there's somebody with a bow trained on you, but they don't mean to shoot it at you if they come in peace.
We kind of examine to see where the arrow came from.
Oris, as you see the arrow hit, you kind of know it's coming from that same area.
I just shout, "Come out, you daft twat."
You say what?
Come out, you daft twat.
In Elvish, you hear across the forest, kind of not coming from a specific location, but kind of ringing out across the trees. He obviously doesn't know our ways.
I still don't understand Elvish, and everyone keeps talking in it.
Out of the tree line comes a creature. You were expecting an elf, but it's not an elf. It's a merfolk. The creature that you see in front of you has blue skin, which is slick, wet from the rain, wearing kind of a simple light purple garb. Very light clothing, despite it being really cold. Jewelry adorning its head. It doesn't have hair. Instead, it has a head tail, which kind of loosely sits over one of its shoulders. The bow that it wields in its hand is apparently made out of bone or something to that effect. And the individual starts to approach from out of the bushes. Looking a little bit like, oh, maybe this will work, I hope. It's not working. Oh, this isn't good. Technical difficulty. Wait 1 second here. Okay. Here goes. In Elvish, still kind
Looks
of
like someone.
looks like what?
It looks like someone from what's that CGI movie? The
Avatar.
Pocahontas in space.
Avatar.
He is actually really tall. When you do see him, he stands about 6 foot, like 8, and he's kind of wiry looking. So I mean, close, I guess. But yeah, the individual starts walking out towards you and states in Elvish, "The winter wolves are causing uprising in the natural wolves, and it's a problem. They shouldn't be this far out of the deep wood. What are you doing here?"
Kelder picks himself up and puts his blades back together, and then, with the help of Oris, like limps over to a nearby stump and drinks a couple healing potions.
As you kind of put the weapons together and in front of this creature, it kind of looks at you. Suel'Thephalma. And you're kind of like, as he basically says the name of the weapon you're carrying.
Yeah, I expected as much. Like, I expected that my bow was not going to escape his notice, but I wanted to put it together and stow it away before he could grab it, you know.
An ancient weapon, a gift from the trackless to the elves. How do you come by it? He's still speaking in Elvish, by the way. As Oris is just...
Always he's
Kelder-
himself with cutting up the wolf into a nice fur coat.
Kelder smiles and says, with a lot of trouble,
and as you're about to like move to cut at the wolf, the merfolk kind of walks over to you and raises a hand. "This is a job for a hunter, not a butcher."
Who's got the butcher's bite at the moment?
Kelder does.
The individual walks over to the winter wolf and says, "You should not eat the meat of this creature. It is tainted by magic," and is speaking in common now.
I don't plan to eat it. I just want the pretty light white cloak.
I don't suggest you wear it either, unless you wish to freeze every night you do.
I'm tough.
Fashion is pain.
He just kind of shakes his head tail kind of draping back behind his head as he does so, and kind of walks over to the dire wolves and says, "These have died, and every part of them should be used." He looks to Oris and says, "If you don't want to waste any time and want to actually do something productive, you can help me drag these to my shelter. If you need a place to stay that isn't so damp."
Did the horse carry the...
Boy, am I glad I loaded up on healing potions.
You cut over Lewis.
Could the
Lewis.
warhorse
Go ahead.
carry a weight of a direwolf?
You're not going to throw it on the back of it, but you could definitely tie it off with some hempen rope and kind of have it dragged. Yeah, that would probably work.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm thinking
I'll get
that,
it
and then
dirty.
before this drags one. That's 2 taken care of.
The merfolk says, "My name is Vafa. I am a member of the Association of Tall No Marie. I serve as constable to these woods for the city of Ursulon, or town of Ursulon, once a city. It's been so long since I've graced that community with my presence." Still talking in Elvish in this regard. You guys load the horses with the wolves, or are you guys going along with what this guy says, or do you have any interaction? You want to jump in? Feel free to talk over me.
I pick up his white tassel arrow
He nods.
and I hand it back to him.
He takes it and returns it to his quiver.
I say, "Well met.
Well,
My name
now
is Kelder."
you still have a grace about you that denotes you as a member of the conglomerate, but the company you keep seems to denote that you aren't with them any longer.
It's a long story.
Do I
I'd be happy to tell you when we get back to your camp.
Of course. Let us move quickly. You guys take the wolves, which he basically, staunches their bleeding from them, like, so the meat doesn't get corrupted. And they kind of move the wolves down to that way. He has a very small little shack. It looks like it's kind of set on a stream or kind of river bed. And as you enter into the place, you realize that half of it is actually built over the water. It doesn't look like it has any traditional beds, just a series of hammocks that have been kind of set up loosely. And in one of those hammocks, there is a person laying there. Looks like they're kind of like rolled over the back to you. And whoever or whatever it is, a very large individual, and just looks like they're in kind of, the fetal position, resting within the shack. He kind of sets the wolves outside with Oris's help and kind of hangs them from a tree branch just outside. It looks like it's served this purpose before. And he'll actually go through the process of showing you, Oris, how to properly dress the kill, removing
What a nice guy.
the meat from the animal. It seems that he's actually pulling the bones out as well, and he kind of moves those to a different place, and you presume that he's just going to throw them away, but it looks like he's taking a lot more care with them than just discarding.
You make soup with bones.
The marrow, of course.
Bloody
He's gonna bury them later for his prayer.
The last remaining bit of the dire wolves that is kept is the pelts, which are kind of left to dry. Obviously not going to do much of that in this current climate, but yeah. He heads back inside after letting you, or he stays outside while he lets you guys inside. So once you're in a sheltered area, the rain kind of becomes a little less noisy. What would you guys like to do?
Are we taking a short or long rest?
Whichever you want. Again, just more for flavor at this point, less for crunch.
Totally understandable. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
I want to shake all the rain off of me and
Okay.
just make myself at home.
Yeah.
Always now even more wet. Just looks down at Pleasant, just like fuck you.
Doesn't look like there's much in the way of fire going at current, but it does look like there's a fire pit near the water area.
What was this fella's name?
Vafa is
think
what
he
he said
told
his
us.
name was.
Okay, so whenever Vafa is done, basically like he's dressing the wolves, Kelder's gonna sit down next to the fire, start drying himself off, and start cleaning himself off.
You start the fire.
We
as well,
have a
'cause
fire.
The fire. There's a fire pit. It just there's no fire.
Oh, well, I have firebolt, so I'm
Okay.
just gonna do that.
All right. You strike the fire pit. It looks like the wood inside is not really keen on taking a fire. It's already kind of been
Well, then I'll
burned
just
out.
keep firebolting it till it's nice and dry and going.
Little more than ash just remaining after bolts of fire are cast into it. Like I said, the wood that's left and remaining looks like it's been used for that purpose already. You are
Oh, okay. Yeah, in which case, gather, while he's dressing the kills, I'll just gather wood and start preparing a fire. If
Go
it's
back-
wet, I'll dry.
Yep, you go back outside. You find the logs outside, kind of set and prepared for that. Vafa, kind of hands a bit bloody and soaked with rain, kind of looks over to you and says, "The bottom one should be dry enough." And again, still instructing you, Oris, on the dressing. Once he's done and everything's kind of put to the side, he flips the dagger that he used to do it, the carving knife, this kind of curved, almost sickle-like implement, and hands it to you. Just in case you need it in the future. The
Can I
fire.
examine?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I examine inside his house? Like, what's in there? What's like?
Sure. There's the guy laying in the hammock, about three other hammocks besides, and it doesn't look like any treasure or loot or anything like that. No, there's no gear. There's nothing present here. It doesn't look like he keeps anything besides what's present. It does look like there's a small bit of a larder kind of close to the fire pit, and it's pretty much empty with just a bit of like bunny meat within. He comes inside, washing his hands out in the rain and leading Oris back into the interior. As you guys are entering in, you hear kind of a noise coming from the individual in the hammock. And he kind of moves over to the fire and sits pretty close to Kelder. So why were you out in the woods?
So back when we were in town, we were at that bar. I bought an entire bottle of Elvish.
I remember.
I'm going to now share this wine with our friend here.
I don't drink. I apologize. The circle won't have it. I don't corrupt my my body with any vice.
Kelder shrugs and he says, "I don't follow anybody's rules anymore."
Your freedom's appreciated. Of course, feel free to drink. I'm not saying you cannot. I shall not partake.
Well, no, he was saying it more like sarcastically, more as like kind of a reflection on his current situation. And then Kelder proceeds to tell him the story of how and why he left the conglomerate, or at least the Osirian sector of the.
Sure. His exchanges at this point have moved to common, since outside, while he was instructing Oris, he quickly realized that Oris does not understand Elvish.
Question. We
Yeah.
all got healing potions, didn't we?
I don't
Did
know.
we all get a healing potion?
You should have it
Last time, or
on
was
whatever
it
you
just
have on
like-
your character sheet.
Okay.
If you don't have it written down, it's probably not something
I've
you
not
have.
got any.
Then no.
Yeah, we didn't just like get free shit, except for me, but that's because I traded for it.
No, I wasn't sure if we bought in a bunch of healing potions and I just not made a note of it or not.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Anyway,
I did, but they were mine.
he kind of nods, listening to your story, and says, so retreating from the city. Interesting. I don't know anything about this old guard you talk about, but I assume that many people in the north in Munio are not loyal to the conglomerate. In fact, quite the opposite.
That's good to know. We might be able to find some help there.
Hi. I don't suggest traveling out on the roads in this weather, and from what I understand of the nature of the sky, this should last a couple of days. It might be problematic for your journey.
Would it be all right with you if we stayed here with you until the weather breaks?
As a constable and servant of the shield, I am sworn to protect any who are seen as goodly people. From your story, it sounds like you're not the opposite. So,
Well, we'll try our best not to. We'll try our best to ease the burden on you.
Of course. Just please be sure to allow Borgu there a little bit of rest. He was traveling quite hastily towards Ursulon and didn't quite make it. He was attacked.
Wait, is that the Dragonborn?
Yes, he's a Dragonborn. What, do you know him?
Yes. Of
Buddy!
course. Is he all right? I mean, Kelder, I have a medicine kit. Kelder offers it and says, "Does he need any help?"
He was wounded quite grievously. He's currently on the upswing, but he was riding quite fast through the woods, from what I gathered, and was attacked by wolves. Not led by the winter wolf, but as I stated, something's happening in the deep of the forest that's causing these creatures to come out deeper out of the woods than they should be. I've attempted. Go ahead.
Kelder's going to try and get Fi's attention and let her know that Borgu's here.
Yeah, I'm already listening, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Or was it just like, buddy?
big hulking.
What do you
form
mean my boy's hurt?
over in the hammock? Like, he's definitely, like, the way he's sitting in the hammock, he's like kind of causing the wood that's holding it to bow a bit, and he's kind of occasionally rolling and going. You hear a oh sound coming from over there.
I run over there and just like,
I don't have much in the ways of magic, but I did notice that your this lady here had some abilities that she was using within the. If you have anything that you could assist him with, that would be great. But I've done my best, and I am trained in field medicine. All associates are, especially constables, are trained to do just that. But if you have some means of mending him.
Until very recently, Borgu was willing to protect Fi with his life. I'm sure she's more than happy to take care.
He has a bit of a fever, and from what I could gather of his mutterings, he was trying to catch up with someone named Phi. That is you, milady?
Is
I don't know exactly why. It sounds like some sort of warning. But if you're able to help him at all, perhaps he'll come to and be able to tell you himself.
Emily?
Is Phi trained in medicine?
Doesn't need to be. If she's using magical healing, it's a bit of a different story.
Much. I was just gonna, I have this medicine kit. If it would help at all, it's totally hers.
We're staying for a while, right?
Yeah.
Couple
I don't
days.
know if in this situation would it be like a spell or would I use like the medicine?
So if you want to kind of look him over and make a medicine check to find out what's going on with him, you can go ahead and do that, and then I'll explain, and you'll kind of get a itinerary of how to heal him. What'd you get?
The first one was a 10.
Okay.
I accidentally hit it twice.
No worries. It looks like he's really heavily wounded. Looks like a lot of bite and claw marks have been kind of applied to him. It looks like the individual Vafa has applied field dressing, so you do see that there are a lot of bandages. They look like they've been recently changed, maybe within the last couple hours. There's a peeking of blood, but not like a whole bunch of it. But you do see that there is, not too far from where he's at, a spot where there's a kind of a basket that has old wrappings, and next to that is Borgu's axe. It definitely looks like he's taken on a fever, but you're not sure exactly what you could do to kind of help with that. You know that magic will cure the wounds. You're not sure if it'll cure and flesh out the disease.
Do you have lesser restoration?
Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Disease.
Or cure disease? Or...
So yeah, there's a spell called Lesser Restoration, which would get rid of the disease portion of it, and then Cure Wounds would heal the wounds.
Yeah, I don't have that
Okay.
other one.
It's something you can prepare. I think it's you guys are 5th level, so you can cast 3rd level spells, and I'm pretty sure Lesser Rest is either 2 or 3.
Yeah, clerics have access to all their spells, don't they?
Yeah.
They've just got prepared.
Yeah.
Really?
Sweet.
Yes.
So you change it out for different spells
So-
a bit.
Long story short, we're going to be here a while. She's going to have plenty of time to take care of it.
Correct. So real quick, Stephanie, note for you, and it might be something you want to invest in Player's Handbook, but you can also use the compendium here. Clerics have access to every spell in the cleric capacity to cast, but they prepare spells, which are the ones that you have listed. That's your generic kind of, I don't know what's going on today. I'm not totally, sure what we're going to need kind of listing. Your cantrips always remain the same, but you can change your other spells depending on what you need. And yeah, Lesser Restoration is a 2nd level spell. So if you wake up in the morning and pray to Stasia, you would change your spell allotment to reflect what you need.
Cool. Okay. I think if that's an option, then I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, so that'll be kind of more of a thing for tomorrow, and perfect. If you want to heal him, like of the damage he's had here, though, that's something you can do here if you'd like.
And then do I just go ahead and I can cast that? Or...
Yeah, it'd be a cure wounds, whatever level you like.
While she's doing that, can Horus go and, realising that we're going to be here a couple of days, go unarmour the war horse, and just get it
Yeah.
comfortable?
Yeah, absolutely. As you're moving out, Vapa says, what are you doing?
I'm going to take my armour off my horse.
Do you need any
Get in
assistance?
bit comfy. You're welcome to help.
Alright. Kind of steps out with you, leaving you to your healing and stuff. As you kind of cure the wounds and kind of, look over the dressing and realize that it's fine, a couple of moments pass, and then Borgu finally kind of rolls over and looks up at you with this, big green dragon looking face and kind of goes, "Fie. Oh, I found you. Are you okay?"
I'm okay. Can't say the same for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. I tried to get you on the road. The people at the people at Moodus said that they'd seen some conglomerate men heading this way. You're kind of thinking in your head, he had to have left before you, because there's no way he'd be this far ahead of you if he hadn't. So you're trying to think like when and why he would have left, as he's kind of staring into your face, kind of, and you can kind of tell. It's hard to see like a dragon kind have a fever, but it definitely looks like he's a bit warm to the touch.
All right. Keep note of that. I think convene, kind of let them know that I think that.
Okay. Yeah, Calder, you're sitting with the fire there, and Pleasant, you're kind of just strolling around the room. You would note, as you're kind of looking around, Pleasant, go ahead and make an investigation check. Let's see if you actually catch it.
Okay.
That's not ominous at all.
Yeah, you do notice that there's no place that looks like it would be where he sleeps, this Vappa guy, and you kind of put two and two together and think that he's sleeping in the water. You kind of look in and you do see that there's a bit of thatching that kind of like creates a barrier in the river stream, where he might be kind of like bedding down. But looking down into the water, it's a bit dark and murky. You can't see any treasures. But you're pretty sure that he sleeps underwater. All right.
The power of production.
Yeah. There's nowhere that he's sleeping. Where does this guy put his...
He's a fish person.
It makes sense. Oris, the two of you kind of remove the split mail, and then he kind of takes one of the pelts down and kind of into the house, kind of sets it near the fire, and then he kind of goes back inside, pulls a cloak near where Borgu was located, brings it out and kind of sets it up on that branch so that it's over top the horses, kind of keeping them a bit drier than they would be without it.
The wars will just help him as much as he can whilst he does that.
Okay. And do you have survival trained?
Survivor. Yes.
Go ahead and make a survival check for me.
16.
So you're not really making this check to kind of do anything. You're more or less making this check to kind of perceive his actions, and you're starting to see like a necessity for it. Like you're seeing that there's like a purpose involved, but you're also starting to kind of pick up on why they're being done and how they're being done, the natural aspect of it. Oh, his headset died.
Yep.
One more time. You're kind of seeing, you're not really doing it to do anything. You're doing it to see what's going on here. You see the utilitarian purposes of what he's doing, but in that same aspect, you're also picking up on like the natural purposes, like why they're being done, and also how they're being implemented. So you're kind of picking up on what he's putting down.
Stuff that always is probably done to a degree in the past, but not to this degree.
Right. You're not trained in
Much
nature,
more.
and basically you're kind of seeing like the natural aspects of it, the survivalist aspects of the natural portion of this. He goes back inside. Go ahead.
Just as we've been doing all this, is it just not asking any questions, just talking, and any information I glean as I'm talking to him, just casually, not following up on anything, just literally going.
Yeah, he's when asked a question, he's very talkative. When he's not asked a question, he kind of keeps to himself. The old adage of "speak when spoken to" seems to be kind of a motto he adheres to. Oftentimes, he mentions something like when he's talking about a specific action or activity, he mentions something called the circle, and you're not sure what he means by that, but you are aware that druids operate in circles and kind of form orders in tree areas. And based on what you're listening to, like your tribe back in Parnak had very similar kind of mentalities in their hierarchy. So you're hearing these words and you're kind of connecting, very similar to be very similar. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. The two of you wander back in. Vapa says, it's not a problem if you stay here for a couple of days until the storm lets out. I'm perfectly fine with that. And the information you've given me is more than helpful. I will ask that I get to keep the spoils of your conflict, with the exception of one of the pelts. Is that fair?
Sounds good to me.
Of course, we will.
Yeah, I have no issue.
We will sup on the meat for those of you who are okay with that. Kind of looking to the elves, not sure, and then kind of moves over to the fire and starts setting out a cooking pot over top it.
Is Roku like semi-awake, just drifting in and out of consciousness sort of deal?
He's kind of in a feverish state.
Oh, has she not cured the fever yet?
No, she hasn't cured the fever. It looks like he's been cured of his wounds, but it looks like the fever's stuck. Yeah.
Or we'll shout at the blizzard. Just in Draconic, you cowardly giant lug. Just to try and get a response of some kind. If nothing happens, he'll just chuckle to himself.
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused on the timeline. Like, if he was trying to warn us about the group that we left behind us.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow he got ahead of us while he was looking for us, he passed us.
Accurate.
Clairvoyant, to the cleric spell.
It's
wise
very.
organization. Maybe someone stole the future of the hills.
It's very confusing that he's here before you if he was leaving to try and rescue you.
Yeah, Kelder would like to pick his brain and try and figure out how that happened.
He's in a feverish state, so a lot of the things that he's saying don't really make sense.
Okay, well, maybe sometime in the next day or two when he's
Yep.
feeling better.
You guys eat, sleep, and awake the next morning with little to no,
We all healed.
You'll have taken a long rest at this point, yeah. So you'll heal up to full,
Okay.
regain your Esper Edge charges and the like. Fi, you remember or pray for the spell Lesser Restoration instead of another second level spell, and then cast it on Borgu. The fever seems to lift from him miraculously, almost as if divine intervention was at play here. Borgu kind of looks at you and says, "Lady Fi, I'm so glad I was able to find you. Shortly after we deposited you at your embassy, the conglomerate, they came to the embassy, and me and E.G. decided to find out what was going on. They took your lady, the actual ambassador of Talanya, away in chains. I was able to ask one of the retainers at the embassy where you had gone, and he said that he understood that it was your goal to make it to Munio. I left that day. I had a horse ready. E.G. said it was foolish to do so, and I told him it was necessary. She needed to come back. But you weren't in the town, and I felt that you had some means of supernatural travel or magic, so I rode as fast as I could. And just out in the road, I was attacked by wolves. I don't remember much of it, but that man there... And he goes, "My name's Vafa, by the way." And Borgu kind of goes, "Yes, I don't know, but my voice changed because I remembered I had this voice, and forgot it while I was talking. God, so much fever. Oh,
Vocal cords.
I sounded like John for a second. Weird, but I didn't know if I needed to rush faster." And I was attacked by wolves on the road. My horse died horribly. Vafa says, "Indeed, what he speaks is true, but if it's any consolation, Borgu, that which falls to the earth is brought back to the earth. I presume the wolves that killed your horse are what you'll be eating for breakfast this morning." if that gives you any sense of consolation. Borga goes, ugh. Just kind of shrugs at it. And Oris, you're kind of like, nod. I understand.
Also, just like I'm also hungry for water. It's been a while.
Yeah, well, you had some for dinner last night, and some more is being put on leaner cuts for breakfast. Yeah, Vafa goes and makes the breakfast. Kind of brings it to Borgu, who's actually fine. Kind of gets up out of the hammock, kind of, seems to be just like miraculously healed from what you saw of him in the state he was in yesterday. And he goes, I wanted to warn you. I needed to make sure that you knew. Was I ahead of you, or how did you come to find me?
We got delayed by like a day or two, didn't we? Or nearly a day in that little town. I wonder if that's why he passed us.
Based on his story, he also didn't go shopping for horses in the market. It sounds like he left right when...
He left earlier, and then we even were even more delayed.
He might have passed us while we were hiding out in that little cellar.
Yeah. Possibly. Who knows? Regardless...
Well, Keller wants to... I'm going to start putting my immense brain power to work and trying to figure out what...
Okay. Well, while that's happening, Stephanie, you were saying something? What were you saying?
What?
You were saying something. You get cut off by Chad.
It's possible that he got ahead of us, like, out of the question.
Okay.
But where did they took the
conglomerate arrested her. I don't know exactly where they took her. But such an action could be seen as a very large problem for Osiria.
green?
I didn't know if you wanted to return back or not. If you're traveling to Munio, you must have a goal in mind. Are you trying to find aid there?
Well, I'll probably try and kill someone.
Our goal is to head to Rastigar. The Mageir in Osiria is I learned that he was a lich, and I've received word that his phylactery is hidden in Rastigar. If we are to break the hold of the conglomerate over Osiria, we need to start with the Mageir.
You're going to the City of Wonders in Parnak?
What's wrong with Parnat, bastard?
Nothing wrong with Parnak, it's just quite a distance away. I didn't think it was involved in any way. Next thing you're going to tell me is that she's from Vendar, gesturing to Pleasant. She is from Vendar. Borg's eyes go wide. Oh, I remember hearing that. We were traveling in the dungeon together. This is confusing.
I just want to stab my old friend in the back and finally gut the bastard.
Well, my lady, I told E.G. that I was going to do this, and he told me that it was not likely that my status as an associate would be kept if I disobeyed orders or did not make it known to the masters of my order, the Shield, to push forward. Vafa kind of cuts in all of a sudden. He says, "You're a Shield associate." Borgu kind of nods his head. "You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. The orders of your leaders be damned." I don't know who this AEG individual is, but it sounds like he is a bit too lawful for the association. If you feel what you're doing is going to protect the realm, then do it. Borgu kind of gives him like a toothy smile and says, "Then Lady Fi, I swear to serve you as your shield and your guard. And I'm glad that I found you." But the choice is yours. Do we return back to the city and try and find out what happened to the ambassador, or do we continue on with what your goal is besides?
I've become quite invested with this group and helping them reach their goals.
Vafa kind of cuts in again. I don't mean to add another path to your already grouped path, but there is something going on in these woods. And I know that you're just passing through and there's not too terribly much interest in the matter for you, but I have a sneaking suspicion it has to do with the lake of shadows. In the center of the forest, there's an old lake there, and a cathedral that was built where that lake now lies. I presume something foul comes from that place, and it's causing the creatures in the center of the wood to exit out.
Why is there always something dark and creepy everywhere we bloody go?
The world is a dark and creepy place.
Bafa kind of points at Pleasant and says, she's not wrong. But of course, I understand you have obviously more pressing matters, and our agreements are already come to a balance. I have kept you sheltered here in the rain, but since you're going to be sitting around in the rain anyways, then mayhaps a short trip to the center of the forest might do you some good.
If we're not going to be traveling any long distance or any like sizable distance towards our goal of reaching Munio, I don't think ranging a short distance from this camp would be such a terrible thing. Whatever is going on in these woods, if it is something that we can take care of while we are here, I have no issues repaying the debt and the kindness that our host has shown us.
Suppose that as a balancing matter, I helped your friend Borgu to health. Obviously, a lot more of it was done by Lady Fi, but I did help him off of the road and helped him from not being consumed by wolves. Perhaps that would serve as an equivalence to you helping me figure out what's going on in the Central Wood.
We could lend our help
What was that, Stephanie?
personally. I think we could lend our help as gratitude personally.
Okay. Well, whenever you're ready to set off, I will remain here. Borgu kind of looks at you. I'm ready to travel, but if you wish for me to stay here, I understand. Batha says, do as you wish. You look like you're more than over what you were ailing. The priestess of the the priestess of the moon was keen in healing you.
Kelder gestures to the wolf hides and he says, if we're going to be venturing out in this weather, we could use...
Our agreement is that you get one. And he kind of looks to Oris, which is fine. It's not
right.
too...
We can return them when we're done, and to be fair, if we encounter more wolves, we have more back.
An interesting a bit of dialogue there. I have managed to tan them slightly, but they're still a bit damp. They might serve some use in the weather, I suppose. That should be fine.
I'm also just glad for this stuff and get ready to walk. He would ask Rafa if he's got any bear claws that he wouldn't mind parting with.
There aren't many bears in this wood. Not many bears in this area. Bears are more of south of the mountains species. There are some bears in the mountains near Munio, but not so much here in the lowlands.
Fair enough. It was just a thought. I've not been a religious fellow in a long time, but even with a company like this, I thought it might be Been nice to go back to it every now and again.
Kelder is going to collect the other 2 wolf hides, and he's going to offer them to Pleasant and Fi.
Well, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so you have some slightly warmer clothing.
It's just a wait. So it's just like a hide,
Yeah,
right? So it's not like made into anything though. So can we wear it?
you can basically use it as a cloak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can Pleasant? Isn't it like?
Oh, it's really
Can
big.
we tie her up? Like, make a bag around her because she's tiny.
Oh,
Just like a cloak, a dress.
We can make you into Yoda.
Borgu steps out for a bit, having gotten his legs, and sees the horses, and then kind of turns and looks back at you and says, "Perhaps I should stay here and help protect and keep the horses." Vaka would say, "That's appreciated. Not necessary, but certainly something that would be helpful."
I'd say keep Borgo here, that the 4 of us can do a bit more. And I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I think if there's 4 of us, it just potentially works better than having Borgo along. And these are weird woods.
Yeah.
Nothing might happen whilst we're gone.
So, do you guys plan on leaving today, or do you plan on moving about at a later point?
Are we all fully healed and rested?
Yep. The only thing that has been wasted is 1 second-level spell slot from Stephanie.
So I guess we'll leave it up to her.
ready to go.
You ready to go?
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right. So you guys head into the woods after gathering up the cloaks and kind of gathering or steeling yourself for the rain. It seems that the rain kind of in this area is pretty heavy, but it's having to cut through the forest canopy, and it's not as bad as it was closer to the edge of the forest. And the deeper you get, the more comfortable you are in this regard. I'd like one of you, and this is something that cannot be assisted, to make a survival check.
The highest.
I'm checking mine.
I've got 5.
5 as well.
I have 0, so it's gonna be one of you two.
Oh, mine is 2.
Okay.
You want to take it, or should I?
Are you feeling lucky
I'm feeling lucky.
for it?
4? Did you say 4?
Oh.
16 for the survival check.
Okay. You managed to kind of meander your way through the woods, spending a good 4 or 5 hours moving through the woods and trying to find your way to the center of it. You feel like it's very easy to get lost here. Despite that, you manage to find your way towards the center of the forest. As you start to breach the forest line, you see the rain scattering across a very massive looking lake, which is covered with kind of a mist, an afternoon mist that's kind of just floating across the waters there. Just near where you're located, though, you see a small shack, kind of built on stilts with a bridge out to it. And it has 2 docks kind of teed off from it. Each one of the docks has a small rowboat set upon it. It looks like this place is kind of settled in its aging. There's like a layer of like silt and dust on the wood. There's still like little bits of hail from the day before. And it looks like this place hasn't been kept for some time. Despite that, there's kind of like an eerie kind of glow coming from inside of the this shack on the river, or shack on the lake.
Shall we head over?
Am I supposed to be seeing something besides the map?
Just the map right now.
Just describing it.
Yeah, we're in Theater of the Mind land.
And there doesn't look to be anywhere across. It's just like
So it's like a pretty decent sized lake with the forest kind of on the outskirts of where you're at. A lot of mist, and then there's a small like shack built on stilts just over the water, and there's a bridge that leads up to the shack, and then the shack has two small little docks that branch off of it. Each one of those docks has a boat, and then
Go to the shack!
inside the shack there's a weird kind of eerie light glowing inside.
Oh, hell yeah, let's go to the shack.
yeah.
I say we send the sneak bird. Check out the shack, make sure no one's inside. The last thing I want to be doing is kicking in somebody's.
Okay.
But where's the fun in there?
All right,
I
Pleasant.
mean,
You,
okay,
like,
like
cast-
alternatively, we could quote unquote knock, and by knock I mean send Oris to kick in the.
There is no door.
You guys, like, cast a ward or whatever? Like, don't you guys do that detect magic all the time? To see?
I can do that if you give me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So before breaking out of the tree line, I'm going to take 10 minutes, cast detect magic as a ritual.
Okay. Do you want to send Pleasant first, or do you guys want to move as a unit towards the door or towards the shack?
Is there a way that, well, we're kind of away from it, right? Where we wouldn't be
I'd say-
detectable? Maybe we could.
Sorry, to answer your question, you're about 100 feet from it. So like the tree line, then there's the break, and it kind of goes about 50 feet to the shore, and then the small little bridge goes about 25 or so feet, and then the shack itself is kind of sitting on the docks there.
I'm okay with scope it before we all just rush in.
Okay.
You guys buff me or something? Not a thing you can do.
I mean, yeah, I have buffs, but none of them are going to really do you any good here.
Well, yeah, like any helpful buffs. I mean,
Okay,
I can. It's just if you have anything.
Get caught.
Yeah, kind of looking around, it doesn't look like there's anything of note. Like it doesn't look like it's unsafe for you, Kate. If you want to sneak up to the building, if there's something inside there, that'd be the only problem. And if everyone's kind of watching from that distance, I think everyone's in range for spell casting, and Oris could probably charge it. So you're not in super danger. You're just
Kind of danger.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do detect magic as a ritual, and
Okay.
then once she's sneaking up there, I'm gonna cover her approach with my.
got it. So far as to say,
Okay.
Detect Magic has a 60-foot range. It doesn't appear that there's any magic present in that radius. Pleasant, you move up. Go ahead and just make me a stealth check. The rain seems to be concealing your footfalls as you kind of slowly, press your clawed feet to the ground, moving out across. As your toes touch across the bridge, you feel that there's like a layer of filth, like on the surface of this bridge, like it hasn't been used in a while. And looking at it, it doesn't look like there's any footpath, like there's nobody who's been here for some time. As you move and approach up to the shack, you kind of place yourself against the door. It's more of a doorway, there's not a solid like frame door. And kind of look inside, and you see that the glowing light that you're looking at appears to be a torch set in a kind of metal sconce attached to one wall. Next to that wall, there appear to be several bags, kind of stuffed, filled with some sort of herb or something. You're not sure what it is. And laying all about on the ground is where things kind of get confusing for you. Impaled on the ground and impaled on one of the walls are two commoner looking folks, and it looks like their entire like chest cavities have been ripped open and their entrails and insides have been removed, so that they're little more than just shells of people. But it looks like they were the only things that were taken from this place. It looks like everything else was kind of left spattered with blood, and nothing else has come in to eat or consume the meat that was left behind, which is a bit weird. But yeah, 2 dead bodies, horribly eviscerated. About 6 of these strange bags, large sacks filled with this herb, and then the torch, which appears to still be going. Muted. You're muted.
It's just like that room, and there's no other door to the docks or anything.
Nope. Well, you've
Okay.
got the. When you come into the door, if you would walk to the left or the right of the building, you'd be on the docks.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So that's the only door in the room and everything.
correct.
Okay. Can I like just search through the bags real quick
Sure.
to see if there's anything like hidden inside?
Go ahead and make me a just an intelligence check. You recognize this herb that they've been putting in the bag. It's a drug known as devil's weed. When imbibed, it kind of creates an hallucinatory state, makes people feel a bit more euphoric, and it's illegal in Vendar. You know that's true. A lot of people think that usage of it is kind of demon related, and basically kind of bad stuff. Reefer madness, if you will.
As an arcanist, would I know if it is actually demon related?
No. You would know that it's not.
So I know that it's essentially harmless.
It's it addles the
And
mind.
we should decriminalize it everywhere.
It does addle the mind, and it's not that. It's not marijuana. It's not that. It's
Pocket some of it.
sure. You'd know it has a street value in Vendar of quite a bit. It's like 50.
Yes.
So it's essentially a recreational.
Yeah, but it
I
does.
could drug people with it.
So like marijuana in real life and devil's weed in the Dungeons and Dragons land. Devil's weed actually does addle the mind, and it does cause people to become more lethargic. So it's not something that you want to use a lot of. Kelder, as an arcanist, you would know also that it can also sharpen specific aspects of spell casting if used in a certain way.
Okay. I would like to know more about that, I would like to hold on.
Those practices are illegal because of the conglomerate.
Oh, so what, like necromancy and stuff?
Oh no! I'm again not only necromancy is illegal to the conglomerate. There's a lot of magics that are illegal to the conglomerate, and also
I got you.
altering your magical ability using substances, performance enhancing substances, is typically not regarded as something that's legal.
I understand, but there's an exception to every rule, and sometimes extreme circumstances call for extreme measures.
Fair enough. You pocket some. So
I also want to.
Wait, did you guys?
like,
Am I the
basically-
only one? They got the all clear and they're here.
you probably
now.
waved them over and they probably came in because there's just dead bodies.
Okay.
So just real quick.
What I want to know is, with the dead bodies and all the other stuff going on, is I want to try and figure out what kind of magic was at work here.
Sure. So no magic was at work here. If you're using your detect magic, the one thing that'll key to your eyes quickly is the torch. The torch is magical. Your questions aside.
Okay, cool. No, I was more curious, like, what kind of rituals, what kind of magic, what kind of people do these things.
Gotcha. Pleasant, you've become a puffin as you've basically taken a whole bunch of the bags and kind of put them into your. You're kind of swollen up a bit. Whoosh. Got the herbs, and then Lewis and Stephanie. What would your characters do when they approach?
Is Pleasant near the dock, like edge?
No, she's inside of the small shack.
You're not gonna push me in the water.
Is Fine near the dock edge?
No.
Man,
We're gonna go ahead and skip Lewis since he's a turd. Stephanie, what would you like to do? But I've explained the shack. Is there anything you're investigating or want to pay attention to?
kind of just want to take note of like the surrounding area, like the
Okay.
shack a little bit.
Yeah. Again, the 2 boats, the lake ahead of you. It's covered in mist, and yeah, it seems to be a pretty off the beaten path and even off the lakefront kind of location. Looking at the bodies though, and Kelder's kind of examining them, trying to see if there's anything ritualistic. You realize that there isn't. Basically, as a priestess of the grave, you realize that these individuals were effectively gutted like fish, but the interior of the thing was what the people who gutted them wanted to keep.
Does it look like it was done in a way, or does it look like they were like mauled by like an animal?
It looks like they were filleted. Like it honestly looks like whatever killed them after killing them basically took out the innards and kept the innards instead of the exterior.
So we have an organ harvester, essentially.
So
Apparently,
The-
Oris
the grounds-
Oris looking at it as she's kind of looking at it as well. You see kind of similar cuts to the cuts that were being made on the wolves yesterday.
Don't make me have to
Oh,
stop with
no.
you, buddy.
oh no,
Don't make me do that.
oh no.
No.
Oh no.
Anyway, there
Our
are
fish friend is a bad guy. This is a trap.
There are two boats, and looking around the lake, if you're wanting to investigate the edges of the lake, you'd probably want to utilize the boats because it would make for an easier trafficking, unless you want to wander around the lake on the shore. Entirely up to you, however you want to traverse it and search, your call.
Whilst people are doing other stuff, like deciding on what we're doing, the ground's quite soft, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, it's wet. This shore is actually kind of cobbled, though. It has like a lot of stones, a lot of flat, smooth stones.
Well, I'd go walk up as far as I could, up a bit, and just dig 2 graves.
Okay, sure. Yeah, not hard. Not hard at all.
And then chuck the bodies in once we go.
Smart.
Some kind of grave.
Make me a strength athletics check, and is anyone helping him dig graves?
I like how you dug the grave, but then just like chucked the body into the grave.
It doesn't matter if they're helping you. It's going to take you about an hour to dig 2 loose graves with your strength and that bad roll.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to basically turn over the interior of the whole place looking for anything interesting.
There's about 60 pounds of devil's weed, the torch, and 2 spears, which were kind of left to impale the individuals to where they're located.
Just totally mundane spears.
As you investigate the spears, it looks like the heads of them are made out of bone. It looks like the shafts of them are actually made out of reeds, like very hard reeds that might grow like in water. And the tying, the filament that kind of ties them together, it's a material that's organic. It might have been some sort of tendon or sinew from a creature. As you're investigating it, you're pretty sure it's not mammalian. It might have been something that was aquatic. That's the word I wanted.
Okay, so do I know of any like sort of cultural significance, like who makes these kinds of spears?
It's a tough
Like
one.
who, like what kind of creatures or cultures would be active in this region that would make spears this way?
I guess go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too,
No,
Stephanie.
no,
I'm
no.
starting to get a sneaking suspicion.
No, you wouldn't. A nature check, but you don't have nature trained, so no, you can't make a check. You don't think so.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to get a feeling this fish guy wasn't completely honest.
Yeah, it's kind of suspicious. Very sus.
Oh, he was a great guy.
He was. I'm fearing for the safety of our horses and our dragonborn friend.
He gave me this nut. Like,
Fine, make an insight check.
I wouldn't just be holding these thoughts to myself. I'd be sharing these thoughts with.
I think I'm catching on to that too. So I'm kind of like, oh fuck it.
Yeah, keep on with what you're believing. It sounds like that's about what you believe.
could I have some
Would believe
knowledge?
that.
I spent time with him. We did stuff together.
You can make an insight check as well.
Hey, you guys.
I'll give you advantage, Oris, because you spent a bit more time with him.
12.
If they start bringing forth the idea that they think the merfolk was the one who did this, you're like, no. If why wouldn't he have killed Borgu? Why would Borgu be alive?
Why did you not let us just get killed by wolves, then flay us as well?
Right. Or shoot you from a distance.
2 of our people were making good impressions of a Snowco.
I mean,
I
he
think
might have
he
a
was
reason
a good
to feel
guy.
like he has, but
He's playing 4D chess right now is what's happening.
So were they? I mean, I have some theories about why they gutted the bodies. But basically, by the time I get in there, there's really only like 1 bag of the stuff left, and I think that's all there is.
Yeah.
Unless I look at Pleasant and notice that she's like all swole.
She is super puffin bird.
All right, so Kelder takes some of the stuff into his possession. We bury the bodies. Don't really find anything else interesting in there. And he proposes to the party, like, do we want to move forward and investigate what's going on with the lake, or do we want to head back to camp and double check, make sure our fish friend isn't extra fishy?
Borgul's healthy, Borgul's strong. If anything is fishy, Borgul will handle it. If not, we can eat Dragonborn for a change. I've always wanted to try it.
eat you.
Are you going to go back, or are you going to get out into the lake and see what you can't find?
These are our choices.
Well, okay, so
Why do we care what this mermaid guy does? We're about to bounce.
even if he isn't the killer or whatever is, mutilating bodies, I feel like it would be safer if we brought Amber with us in case we encounter the person who's filleting other people.
I'm strong. I can get stabbed a lot.
Well, you don't.
I think she just wants to cover all our angles because we don't want our Dragonborn dude to die.
Okay. So you want to return back and grab Borgu?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you spend the rest of the day heading back, because again, it took you quite a while to get there.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, should we keep someone here just to see if anyone comes to the shack or if anyone comes to the lake?
Yeah,
Because I'm willing to stay. As I said,
I like splitting the party. Go for it.
I'm quite happy to sit here and wait on my own whilst you guys go off and do that.
I'll
No.
wait with you.
Yay, me and the bird.
So
Okay.
Elves
This is great.
Elves are going back,
Look for
and Oris and Pleasant are staying here. Is that right?
The 2 people that can't hold a proper conversation.
Okay. So Phi and Kelder, before you start off, I'd like one of you to be the leader of the group who's trying to find the way back, and I need you to make a survival check. Remember, Oris was
0.
the one who led you.
I'm
here.
pretty sure Phi has a higher bonus than I do.
Yeah, she has
I'm at a
wisdom.
5.
So could I help her with that?
No, this is the one that I made Oris roll on their own.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be on the offense, and you're gonna be our navigator.
Make a survival check. You managed
11.
to just barely make it back before sun is completely set. When you arrive there, you see your horses are in good spirits. It looks like someone has actually created a bonfire just near them to warm them up, and has set has set another pelt that you don't know where it came from over top the cloak that was left there. Borgu is inside and is kind of alone and kind of looks over his shoulder at you and says, "Oh, what are you doing back?" as you enter in.
I would have, if we were going to be returning back to camp, Kelder would have brought one of those spears with him.
Sure.
And, when Borgu's like, hey, what are you doing back? I look around and make sure the fish guy isn't around. I want to know where he's at.
Oh, he's just out gathering some spices.
Very well. And then I do a very quick rundown of what we found and what our suspicions are. And
Your suspicion.
Borgu shakes his head.
yeah,
No, he's a shield associate. That's not.
In any case,
What's that?
Very well.
We have some kind of suspicion.
I trust Borgu's opinion, but at the same time, when the fish guy gets back, I want to talk to him about the spear and see if he knows anything else about what's going on out.
Okay. As you guys are waiting, I'll go ahead and cut back to the other group real quick. And we're about to end here, so I just want to make sure we have a good stopping point. But Pleasant and Oris, you guys are sitting in the shelter or sitting outside of the shelter and looking. Where's your hold-up point? Because remember, it's still raining. And if you're outside of the forest, which you are at the shelter, you need the shelter to remain dry.
Sitting inside.
Keep in mind, they both have pelts.
Yep. Staying inside.
Sitting inside the shelter.
Oris?
Sit by the shelter door.
Okay.
As much of a view of the surrounding area as I can.
Sure.
Can we just leave the door open?
Are you paying... Okay, so for the two of you, is one of you paying attention to the lake, the other paying attention to the forest, or are you both paying attention to one specific location?
I'm happy to do that.
All right, who's looking at the lake?
The lake.
That's you, Kate. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Oh no. Where is it?
Should be.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're watching, with that 16, you're watching the lakeside. I'd say about 300 or so
Shit,
feet.
hold on.
Go ahead.
Accidentally had that muted.
Okay. So 16. About 300 or so feet up the river, or up the lake shore. You can see that the mist is kind of clearing as the sun is setting. And you see a group of maybe 3 or 4 deer, kind of, I'd say 3, kind of prance out to the waterway and start kind of drinking at it. And as you're kind of looking at them, you stay kind of focused on them. You see figures in the water moving very quickly in that direction. Then you see 3 spears fly up out of the water and hit the deer. 2 of them fall, and the other 2 bound off back into the forest.
Our friend's innocent, there's just more merfolk.
If you watch for a little longer, you see these creatures that look like bipedal fish come up out of the water, kind of cloaked with these heavy, like, skins over their head, keeping themselves, like, their heads covered, kind of come out and with these weird-looking sickles, kind of slam down into the deers and drag them into the lake.
They look similar to Fishman.
I'll show you a picture. I'll try to show you a picture. Hold on a second.
Kuato. Out of character knowledge.
Yeah, we're going all the way into this.
We all jumped to the same to the conclusion of, oh, it must be Fishman.
I don't think it's
We all
Fishman.
barely thought,
Yeah,
oh, there
well,
might be
you
more
know, it
Fishman.
was a fishman. It's not the
Not the Fishman.
The one,
They're-
but a fish.
They're not all the same, you guys. Jeez. Racist.
Yeah, really.
have you not met Oris? That's like his key trait.
Racist?
Yeah.
Elves, bird people. He keeps trying to push the bird person over.
It's true.
One day he will
Hold on.
succeed.
That's it. That's his goal. His whole like story arc. Push bird person over.
How to push bird person.
That is a hell of a goal. I am trying to find my art for it, and apparently it was not loaded by me because I'm not smart. It's not good. I'll just go this route here. It's
It's not the same people as
did that pop?
Fish Guy.
Matching giant. Okay, that's basically what I was imagining.
Aw. You look so silly.
Do we draw attention that we're here or no?
Nope.
I think we should not.
It's about 300 feet away that happens, and like I said, it looks like one of this pack of 5 of these creatures coming out of the water has like a very large hook kind of slams into one. Then another one kind of pulls out this hook and slams it in as well, and are dragging it off into the water. As they do so, you can kind of see the deer carcasses floating across the water, heading towards what appears to be the center of the lake, into the remaining amount of fog that you can see.
I want to test a theory quickly.
Shoot.
And with the great red one, I'm just going to very lightly stick it in the water.
Okay.
And then pull it back out.
It's got water on it now.
Just my worry was that they were sensing when, because the deer started drinking, then they showed up. My worry was there was something going on with the water itself, and they were able to sense it. But get that tested, and then I'll look at Pleasant and just be like, so we've got a while to wait.
Okay. So
for us to get back.
that being said, you guys are 2, so it's going to be hard for you to keep watch together. So we'll get to that bit next at the start of next session. And then Phi and Kelder, you arrive back. Like I said, it's nightfall. You don't need to rest very much, and Borgu hasn't slept during the day, so he'll be tired if he goes with you. The Vappa arrives back and kind of looks at you and says, "What are you doing here? Where are the others?" Keeping in mind, you don't know what was just learned there, so keep your continued suspicions up.
Yep. I
can't feel it.
I kind of look at him and I hand him the spear. I present the spear to him. I say, "Have you ever seen this before?" And as I ask him the question, I'm going to study his response very carefully.
He looks at it and goes, "Lizard folk." Kind of looks over it again. It looks like a lizard folk spear. Kind of small. Maybe kobolds?
And just because I'm maintaining my suspicion, even though me, the player, no longer suspects him, do I need to make an insight check or anything like that?
Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check. Yeah, you're pretty sure he's lying to you. Phi, what about you? You want to make an insight check about what? Just to
Yeah, like he would, Kelder would kind of glance over, like give Phi the side eye, like, I'm not buying it.
Phi,
So I'm going to examine his reaction.
yeah, you see that he's cool and calculated and responding as a hunter would. He says Kuatoa, or not Kuatoa, he says kobolds or lizard folk, probably. Very strange
That's
materials.
hilarious. That we rolled like that. That's just hilarious to me.
Yep, and you're kind of thinking about it more now, and Borgu's perfect health, you know, and everybody's fine, and this guy seems to be more than helpful. You're starting to lose the suspicions, but you also notice that Kelder hasn't.
So using my powers of deduction, basically out of character right now, I want to somehow, like, I want to tell the guy the truth of what we found.
Okay.
Because I think he'll kind of give us more if we're just up front with him. That, like, hey, we found all this.
And he says, "Gutted from the inside," in response to your telling. That doesn't sound like lizard folk or kobolds. I don't know what that is, but some sort of tribal group if they're going to be using a spear like this. Unless they stole them from lizard folks that I wasn't aware of in the area. I apologize. I don't know what's happening here, but it sounds dangerous. Did you come back to have us come along with you, or?
We definitely think that we're dealing with something dangerous, so we thought that more manpower would be necessary.
Yeah, and if it's going to be in the water, I could be of a lot of help there. I didn't know it would be in the lake. I was hoping it was just something around it or near it. It was at that small shelter there. There's a group of smugglers that traverse the lake of shadows. There's a weed that grows out around that area on a small copse not too far from that shack. I'm aware of their dealings. I just haven't had any reason to stop them. It's nothing I care about. It's illegal in the cities, but if they're keeping to themselves, it doesn't hurt anybody, that's fine. He kind of shrugs.
Kelder shrugs and he says, "They probably won't be a problem anymore."
Someone,
Gathering that the
he says, someone needs to watch over the horses, though. We can't just leave them here. He looks to Borgu. If you wish to stay, I'll go with them. And Borgu says, and if milady, if you wish me to go with you, Vapa can stay with the horses. They both kind of look to you, and it comes to that point in the video game where you have to make a decision. And before you do, I'm going to go ahead and call the session there. We've got our 2 hours. Call it there. So feel free to make that decision during the course of the next couple of weeks there. Yeah, we'll discuss next session, which will be interesting, the events of the night for Oris and Pleasant. The ones that got left behind. All right, thanks for watching. See you in a couple of weeks.
I think John's like, yeah.